All right, welcome and good evening, everybody, to Green White Checker TV for the Area 51 Superspeedway Truck Series Round 4 here tonight. And fourth week, fourth different track. We are here at the beautiful iRacing Superspeedway, the only fantasy track that we run here in the league. But man, at dang near 3 miles long, this baby is bad fast, it is wide, and it is going to promote some great racing with this truck series here tonight. Alongside me in the booth is the man, the myth, the legend, Boomer Logan from the Sunday night series. Boomer, nice to have you here tonight. And tell us about iRacing Super Speedway. You guys in the Super Speedway, listen to me. In the Next Gen series, just got done running here. What'd you see there Sunday night that you think might transition over here tonight to these truckers?
We'll see. It's going to be an exciting show, and definitely excited to be back with you, Maxwell. It's going to be a lot of fun tonight. I personally have a ton of nostalgia for this racetrack. Some of you may or may not know that this racetrack is obviously a fictional track that was once created by a company named Papyrus that created the game NASCAR Racing 2003, which is how a lot of people got their start in sim racing. I was probably in middle school or so when I really started to get into playing that and started learning how to make paint schemes and had a lot of fun. And this was the speedway. Obviously, back then it was the Coca-Cola Super Speedway, but it's an incredible track to race at. Obviously, on Sunday we had some incredible action. We saw, it's a big enough track where you can actually lose the draft, and you can actually, I mean, that's a huge deal to lose the draft and get caught far behind other drivers. But we also saw a ton of action at the end of the race where leaders made mistakes, leaders were wrecking, and guys were making pit strategy calls, and we saw basically the winner from Sunday night came back from a 10-second disadvantage from first place. So anything can happen here, and it will happen here. This is just such a fun and special track that I'm so glad is back in the virtual world again.
Absolutely. It's big, it's wide, it's fast, and Boomer, I got to tell you, man, it's going to really cause a shakeup probably tonight here in the points. And speaking of points, we're in race 4, so we really want to start honing in here about halfway through the regular season after tonight is finished up. As you can see there, Boomer, Gabe Butler with a demanding lead there with 109 points. But look at how close some of these guys are through that top 12, top 18. And remember, this season it's still undecided. It's all about who shows up and how many race. But, man, we could have up to anywhere from 12 to 16 playoff drivers this season. So right here, this screen we're looking at could pay big dividends. But look at some of these names here currently in your top 10. You've got Vicente Guerrero second, Gary Winters third, Carl Henderson fourth, Brandon Briggs there in fifth, Seth Groover, Matt Wagner, Rudy Doden, Kevin Freeze, and Josh Laston in that top 10. But as you look through this field, we see some guys kind of making their way up the point standings there. Todd Siebel's up to 14th. Not the start of the season he wanted, but making his way up there. And Dean Wilkinson already missed one race, but here he is already recovering right there in 17th. So, Boomer, a lot of big names outside this top 10 that could easily work their way into these point standings.
Absolutely. Don't count out that guy in 15th, Bud Steele. He grabbed a win on Sunday night here at iRacing Super Speedway. He was that guy that made up 10 seconds on the field, or at least on the leaders, to get back to the front and take the lead with actually on the last lap. So anything can happen here, and don't count any of those guys out, especially with what wild and crazy action we should have here tonight.
Absolutely. Some of these guys in the back trying to work their way up in the next 5 races. James Moen there, he's a fast guy. Guile Brooks had to miss last week because Boomer was out of commission. But hey, he's going to try to see if he can make it into those playoffs. And just a lot of names back here that maybe didn't have the start of the seasons they wanted, but definitely got time to improve and work their way up as we just kind of flash through here to show you the 48 drivers that have gotten points this season. But hey, now that we've got all that going on, qualifying has just wrapped up. And yeah, STK is being nice and not wanting to get rid of my graphics there, but we'll see what happens when we try to bring up our starting grid. All right, and let's see if I can clear that. No, it's acting a little weird here, Boomer. but we'll see if we can make the most of it. Matt Wagner there in first, Kevin Fries in second. Gabe Butler will be third on the starting grid. Fourth is Tom Dixon. Fifth, a great qualifying effort there for the 74 of Robert Jordan. Patrick Groover making his return to Area 51 here in sixth. Bud Steele in seventh. Charles Johnson in eighth. Jimmy Reynolds ninth. And Joshua Hanner rounds out your top 10. Dean Wilkinson in the 55 is going to be in the 11th spot. 12th is Richard Sanchez, and working our way on through. 13th is Ryan Decker. 14th, Vicente Guerrero. 15th, Seth Groover. 16th is Brad Slagle. Reed there in 17th. Laurie 18th. Childs 19th. And Remkes rounding out that top 20. Guile Brooks in the 71 there in the 21st spot. Chris Pacini in 22nd. Gary Winters 3rd. Michael in the 00 there in 24th. And looking at the rest of your starters here tonight, 25th, Jim Brooks. Josh Laston, 26th. Carl Henderson, 27th. 28th, Rudy Doden. 29th, Todd Siebels. And there goes all my stuff again. What is going on? Let's see if we can make that show one more time to get the rest of your grid. And then we've got, let's see, Rudy Doden, 29th. Todd Siebels, 30th. Adam Kilday, 31st. Jimmy Crawford, 32nd, and Brandon Briggs, 33rd. All right, so, Boomer, tell us what you think's going to happen here tonight as I try to see if I can reboot our SDK here. All right, folks, so sorry for a lot of the technical difficulties here. Maybe we've got it back underway here. So, going to try to see if we can get the cameras over here on some of your drivers as they are pacing around the field. There we go. Got everything going back in order here.
All right.
So, and we got Boomer back too. Just an awkward moment there.
Yes, I apologize. Headset cut out there. But, hey, audio issues and visual issues are good now, so we should be good to go for the start of this one.
Absolutely. SDK can do this sometimes with live timing, but it is all good. Drivers are pacing around, and we did see there on the grid camera, don't exactly know what happened, but we did see a wreck on the grid. So, Boomer may let you take a look back at that for just a moment since I had to reboot SDK. But coming out of 4 here, we see all your drivers getting ready to take the green flag as they come around the front stretch a long way to the start-finish line. But the green is out, and it's Matt Wagner on the pole taking you guys into turn 1. Side by side, we see 33 trucks trying to make their way around as they head off into turn 1 into some steep banking with Gabe Butler pushing that bottom line clear.
Yeah, beautiful paint scheme on that number 11 this weekend. As I understand, a friend of Steel Horse Racing, who I know Gael runs with, and I believe Matt knows as well. Steve Gottschalk unfortunately passed away this past week, and I don't know the backstory, but I do know that his nickname was Nerf. And obviously Matt running a Nerf paint scheme. We'll have to pull him up at some point to ask him about it, but I believe that paint scheme is in honor of their friend that has passed away. So definitely a great tribute, and a great tribute to put it on the pole for Steve here tonight from that pole position from Matt Wagner.
Absolutely, what a tribute it is. But Matt Wagner tried to lead the first lap, but got outrun by 2 of Area 51's finest in Gabe Butler and Kevin Fries. They took the early lead here. And, Boomer, this is a dangerous combo when you've got Gabe Butler with Kevin Fries right on the back bumper. This is exactly how these two like to line up and try to dominate these races.
Yeah, these guys are pretty professional as far as running this league, and they really understand what it takes to win at Superspeedway racing. So definitely expect these guys to be at the front. Now we did see Gabe and a couple of his teammates, maybe a little bit of miscommunication on Sunday night, got into a little bit of a push there at some point, and they made some contact with the wall afterwards. So they have to, definitely a different track here at iRacing Superspeedway. You kind of have to, kind of anticipate the craziness, and we did see, a little bit of a mistake from that team. But granted, I know that they're going to be, trying to do everything they can to not make those same mistakes tonight.
Absolutely looking to continue their dominance they seem to have here over on Thursday nights. Kevin Freeze kind of looking for a rebound, Boomer. When we were talking about the point standings, you saw him kind of down there right at the bottom half of the top 10 in points. I mean, not sitting bad right now, but not where we're used to seeing our defending series champion. So definitely interesting to see there, but what's also interesting to see is Tom Dixon in that 411. He has not had the season that he has wanted so far, and it's nice to see him getting that truck up front here for Team Extreme, being pushed by a driver we have not seen in quite some time. The brother to Seth Groover, Patrick, is here tonight in that beautiful Mario paint job, and last time I think I saw Patrick might have been when I was on track with him in this series, Boomer. So nice to see Patrick able to make it here tonight, but interesting to see he's separated from Seth. I know they tried to start together, but man, if there's one thing about these Groover brothers, they love to go up front and dominate.
Absolutely, those guys are. I mean, I don't think, have they ever spent a single lap running the bottom lane? Like I don't think they do that. Like they're there to entertain and make moves on the outside. And I tell you what, we see it. His brother, he's going to the top. Seth Groover's already making that third lane happen. They absolutely love running up high and having fun, and it's absolutely great to see Patrick back with us this week. Obviously, his brother's been racing here for quite a while. Patrick taking a little bit of a break, but glad to have him back, and I cannot wait to see the Mario 01 and the Yoshi 02 truck finally find each other, because it's going to happen at some point. I can guarantee it.
Oh, absolutely, and those two will make a ton of speed. So for right now, Patrick looks to just be trying to settle in here and kind of get his feet wet. What a track he chose to be able to do that. I mean, it is big and wide, but it's also crazy with the elevation change in the corner and the speed that some of these trucks do. I mean, looking at our leader, Gabe Butler, in a truck doing 230 miles an hour off into this first corner and doesn't slow down a whole lot. Looks like the slowest he's getting right now is 222 miles an hour. That's pretty crazy for these trucks, and from what I understand, Boomer, and I could be wrong, but I think that's a pretty big speed difference in the next gens as well, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, these trucks are going probably at least 30 to 40 miles an hour faster, probably even 50 miles an hour faster, because I know typically at like Daytona, Talladega, they're really not doing much over 180, maybe 190. So this is absolutely, I mean, things happen so much faster at this racetrack. And one thing to pay attention to is as they go into the corner here, there's a huge drop off. Like there is a bunch of banking in the front straightaway, but as soon as you get into the corner, there is a huge drop off, almost like a bump, and it just kind of sits you down into that pavement, that banking of the pavement. And then when you kind of get back up on you can see it there, you get back up on the backstretch. It's the same thing where you kind of like pop up and back onto the flat of the backstretch. So it's definitely an aggressive racetrack, and I mean things are happening 20, 30, 40, 50 miles an hour faster than any other track that we race at. So it's definitely something to pay attention to. Things can get out of hand very quick, but so far we've got a pretty solid field going 2x2x2 for quite a ways, and everyone's still pretty much here in this lead pack.
Absolutely, and we ride on board with Gabe Butler here in the 88 just to show how big these transitions are. You see that foot is to the floor, but watch this transition off into the corner, Boomer. Big bumps going off in there, and that really likes to unsettle these trucks as they go around this speedway here. But these truckers holding on so far on lap 8 now, 7 in the books. We're booking through this race, and we're looking at a fuel window, folks. We didn't talk about it earlier, but anywhere between 17 to 19 laps at the absolute max. But most drivers I'm talking to are saying 18 is the magic number. So, Boomer, from Sunday night, I don't know what kind of strategies y'all might have had over there, but seems like these truckers are pretty locked in at the 18 lap mark. But does that mean we're going to see everyone the exact same lap, or do you think some might try to short pit here?
We definitely saw pretty much everyone on the same strategy at times. Maybe coming one lap early or one lap late, but for the most part, it was pretty well settled that everyone was kind of doing the same thing. So, and there really weren't a ton of cautions to really jumble the field up or have a bunch of restarts. So it definitely made a huge difference. But it'd be interesting to see. I mean, honestly, it's even really tough because we've seen some of these guys, some of the teams that can be really organized. TW Motorsports, we've seen Team Butnaka. We've seen these guys be able to get out and be ahead by like 2, 3, 4 seconds, and the pack behind them loses their draft, and that's enough for them to get ahead. That can multiply by 10, 15 times here at iRacing Superspeedway. Obviously, such a large track, but you are going so fast around here. There's still a lot of distance in this track, being just under 3 miles, that if you get behind and lose the draft, it takes a lot of effort to catch back up. So definitely look to see these guys be as meticulous and as as focused as possible while coming down to try and get that pit service done.
Absolutely, and talk about trying to catch up. We come here to the back, not always showing me the drivers that I would think it would need to. Still having that trouble with live timing on my end, folks, of a couple cars not always rendering. But look how far back these two drivers are here, Boomer. Todd Siebels, Brandon Briggs. They're trying, but they're definitely losing pace here and kind of falling off this lead pack pretty quick.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate for sure. We saw there was some issues with taking to the grid where, at least on SDK, it showed us that everyone had crashed, but it does actually look like Mike Grimkus in the 79 actually spun out under pace laps. I'm not sure how exactly that happened, but I wonder if that was enough to get him far enough behind to start the race, and who knows, I'm not entirely sure what happened to Brandon Briggs, if they just kind of got tangled up in the back or something happened, but definitely unfortunate to be that far off the pace. It's going to take probably a caution for them. It's definitely going to take a caution for them to catch back up to the field at that point.
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting, but right now, lean, mean, and green here on Green One Checker TV. These truckers kind of minding their P's and Q's, and Boomer, you've been here for a couple of these. I mean, they've been pretty rough and tough and pretty aggressive these first 3 races of the season, but of all places here at the iRacing Superspeedway, kind of looking nice and calm here. But could this just be the calm before the storm? Because if they all stay out here and all pit around the same time, pit road could get chaotic with this many trucks still in contention and still on the lead lap. I mean, nobody truly wrecked out just yet.
Yeah, we'll see. I know so if you see where the pit road actually starts, the actual pit road speed doesn't start until the yellow cones, maybe like 400 or 500 feet beyond the entrance of the pit wall there. So you can really get extremely aggressive as far as getting onto pit road. We really didn't see anybody on Sunday night that had too many issues with being too aggressive and spinning out, but there were definitely guys that were able to capitalize on it a little bit more than others and be as aggressive as possible without spinning it out. So there's definitely guys that'll underdrive that pit entry for sure, and they're going to lose at least 2 to 10, 15 spots if this whole pack continues to stay as packed up and tight as it is.
And with as aggressive as this pit road is, I mean, I forget what the speed limit is on this pit road, but it is definitely fast. But you've got to slow way down from 230 miles an hour to try to get down to that pit road speed. And, some guys are a lot better on the brakes than others. I mean, it's just going to take 1 or 2 drivers just even stopping at a different rate of speed, maybe stopping earlier than another one to cause a big cluster trying to come into pit road. So definitely something we're going to have to watch out for here, but something else we're going to have to watch for is this top line. They need to find a way to get down. They are just a few laps away from what should be green flag pit stops, and most of the packs here on the bottom, but this top line, they're trying to find a hole and not seeing too many opportunities.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, a good run so far for Tom Dixon there in that outside lane with Patrick Groover just behind him. They're definitely making some good progress out there, but eventually they're going to want to try and get down to the bottom. Obviously, they've got a couple more laps to do it before they, get a chance to get down and make their pit service. It's a lot tougher, obviously, to pit from that second lane. It may be possible to do it here where you've got so much more space to get onto pit road and try to be aggressive and get around the guy in front of you. Though that would definitely be a very tall task, and we'll have to wait and see what happens.
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting for sure. But you see, big problems in the back here. Which driver was that? Trying to catch him here. They spun off track.
Ooh, Robert Jordan. Yeah, Robert Jordan went off track.
Right there. I knew I saw it, but the paint job's a little different this week. So sorry. And he's going to wreck it right there again. Is that going to bring out a yellow?
I can't believe that hasn't brought out a yellow.
Wow. Great start there for a top 5 start, but definitely big problems with that truck, and with motor problems, he's going to have to at least tow that, if not be retired here for the evening, I would imagine. But we do stay green, Boomer, and that's a couple incidents that I think we've seen happen that didn't bring out a yellow, so iRacing getting a little more lenient, I guess, on how much it's going to take to cause a yellow. I guess being by yourself, we're not going to see it.
We'll see. We definitely didn't see as many yellows as we thought we would here at iRacing Superspeedway, and that on Sunday that could have just been the product of the race or the track. But interesting to note, it looks like maybe just a push gone wrong. The 2 machine of Joshua Hanner kind of, I don't know if he just wasn't lined up or what, but all of a sudden Robert Jordan was turned to the right and sliding up the track. So Joshua Hanner had a hell of a run last Sunday in the Next Gen Series, but a little bit of a trouble trying to get lined up and pushing some of the other guys on track tonight. So definitely unfortunate, because I think that's going to pretty much end Robert Jordan's night.
Absolutely, and we did have a few there come down pit road, but it was a lot of your back of the pack drivers. We're trying to keep our eyes up front here to watch these leaders dive off, and there come a few right now. Definitely some of the TW guys, it looks like, trying to make their way in, and man, I cannot get clicked. And Charles Johnson wrecking on the pit road there in the 9. He just got it locked down and spun, and this is what we talked about as far as pit entries go. This could be very dangerous for a lot of these drivers here.
Yeah, definitely. It's a 65-mile-an-hour pit road speed limit, and that is 10 miles an hour faster than just about any other pit lane in iRacing. So we definitely have Patrick Groover and Seth Groover down this time, and some of the TW Motorsports guys of Charles Johnson, Dean Wilkinson. We also got Timmy Reed, Jessica Childs, Adam Kilday, and Brad Slagle on pit road right now. And if I didn't already mention Tom Dixon, so kind of that second pack, the guys on the outside.
Here come your leaders. And some more people getting loose.
We got more. We got a bunch.
Big wrecks coming onto pit road. We talked about how dangerous it could be, and this is a pile up, Groover.
Wow,
this is an absolute pile up.
They got to find for this. Wow. Well, I don't know if they have to, but I'm really surprised that we haven't yet. But man, Josh Laston absolutely killed the tire barriers, and then a bunch of chaos happened behind him. Holy cow.
And I normally don't do this, but we're going to actually just reverse right here from where we're at, because
might as well.
This was pretty insane. I want to kind of ride on board, because I think this started with Sanchez.
Yeah.
So let's see if we can go on board here maybe and see just what happened. See if we can watch this slow-mo here for just a moment. So they're getting ready to make these stops, Boomer. And as they pull off, just chaos is going to ensue here. Trying to find a great camera angle to see it. Right there you see the 25 get a little loose, but so does the 510. And the 25 kind of saves it, but boom, right there in the wall for him. But even more guys.
Turns up. Yeah. Vicente turns up and trying to avoid him. And, is he going to get... that's why Josh crashed. Josh got run over entirely. Unfortunately, wow, what a tough break for Josh. Holy cow, what a big impact. The 510 still sliding. The 071 was sliding when he made contact. The 2 gets through just barely. The 1 looks like it's going to hit. The 14, man, the 2 gets some damage there. Ooh, wow. All those guys pretty much having to take a fast repair for that contact. And that's going to jump up the field a little bit, wouldn't you think there, Maxwell?
Absolutely. That's going to spread these guys out a lot. And it's hard to tell what's going on here. We're trying to get back live, and it's still wanting to show replay here. So see what we can have happen. There we go. So Still under green out here. It looked like caution because it was at quarter speed still, Boomer. Live timing kind of acting a little weird for me here tonight. But somehow or another, Freeze recovers and still stays in this lead pack. But look how separated everybody are. Now, you've got these top 4 with a 3-second gap to 5th place there in Seth Groover. So definitely got the Groover brothers. Hey, they got to recover. I thought that first set of pit stops was really going to slow them down with Charles wrecking and them having to play the avoidance game, but seemed like that second pack actually did a lot worse. So we talked about it. Pit road could be a big problem, and it definitely was, but with it going green here, I don't know. It's going to take what's it going to take to bring a yellow out here, because that was some pretty massive. I'm really shocked we didn't have an admin caution for that one.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I mean, obviously, once you're on pit road, iRacing will never throw a caution for that. But there's definitely been some incidents on track that I've been a little surprised haven't thrown a yellow yet. But so far, I mean, we got Gabe Butler, Kevin Freese, Matt Wagner, and Ryan Decker there in that front pack of 4. And now you're looking at the 0-1 of Patrick Groover, his brother Seth Groover just behind him with Dean Wilkinson. And I believe that is a lap car, that 4th car in that second lane. But these guys are only about 3.8 seconds behind from our leaders. So there's definitely time for them to make it back up to that front pack. You never know. Obviously, the front leaders may have, you never know what's going to happen, if they may have issues later on, but obviously from that first pit cycle, it's very treacherous, and everyone's going to have to be on top of their game just to make it through that and try to get it. You still got to try and get as much of an advantage as you can to try and make it to, to gain on your competitors.
Absolutely, and trying to show these Groover boys off for proud follower here, Karen in the chat. Faithful follower to Area 51 and Green White Checker TV. Love seeing you chime in there, Karen. Got these two boys out here just doing a fantastic job at the iRacing Superspeedway. Brothers together running 5th and 6th. And kind of in chronological order, right? The 0-1 in front and the 0-2 right there behind pushing. So probably the lineup they like to have here, but definitely not doing bad given all the circumstances we've started with. So definitely doing well, but time to check back up front here, and it kind of looks like that pack we just saw. We don't really have just a quote-unquote lead pack or big pack to watch, so we'll probably try to cycle through quite a few of these packs just to see where everybody is. So right now you've got Gabe Butler, Kevin Freese, Matt Wagner, and Ryan Decker running in this top 4. They're feeling good about their chances now as they still slowly pull away. And like we showed you earlier, about 4 seconds off is this pack with the Groover brothers, Dean Wilkinson and Todd Siebels right there in that group, and maybe adding a 5th there in that 09 of Josh Laston. He might be able to tag on to the tail end of that, maybe help that group just a little bit with a little momentum. And then we come on back here to 8th place, and it's another, look at this, Boomer, another pack of 4 trucks. I'll let you talk about these guys in a moment.
Sure, yeah, so we've got Bud Steele back here in 8th place. They are about 11 seconds behind the leader. Gael Brooks is second in line here with Timmy Reed in that group as well, and I believe they do have 1 lap car in that group. It looks like, is that the 9 machine of Charles Johnson there? It is, the 9 machine of Charles Johnson there as well. So the 10, the 9, the 256, and the 71 of Gael Brooks there. So they're still not out of this, being only 7 seconds off of the guys that are in front of them. Obviously 7 seconds at this racetrack is quite a ways, but after this, looks like we got another pack, just another 5.5 seconds behind Gael Brooks. We've got Carl Henderson leading this pack of, looks like, about 5 cars here.
Absolutely. You got Carl Henderson, Adam Kilday, Rudy Doden, Gary Winters, and Jimmy Reynolds all seem to be in this 5-man pack, just clicking to make sure that there were no lap cars in it, and they were not. But we go back to yet another pack. And we've got to, for lead lap drivers, we got to go way back here. There's that 510 of Richard Sanchez. And man, he is a good bit back here. Definitely got a weird line coming out of that corner too. You can tell they're trying to push real hard, because he's got a championship contender having a rough time on pit road. Vicente Guerrero there in 17th. Josh Hanner, excuse me, in 18th. And it looks like maybe something just changed up. iRacing just kind of, live timing kind of changed their spots here a little bit. Maybe
we got Chris Bikini in 19th, and then Jessica Childs in 20th in that pack as well.
Yeah, I don't know why their positions just randomly changed unless something happened here, but got all those guys. And then you go back to the next group, and there's Jim Brooks back here. He was just kind of an unfortunate bystander there on the grid there. And Eric Laurie, he's way on back here. Looks like he's about to get lapped here by the leaders, and he's with, look, bad luck of the season here for that 411 of Tom Dixon, man. Just cannot catch a break there, can he?
No, unfortunately not. I mean, obviously, he was already having a really good night running in the top lane. Looked like he was up there with the leaders, and just unfortunate there. They're going to jump high and let those leaders on by now. But it's definitely interesting to see how this track works with how much separation. Obviously, we're only running about 46-second laps, where, at Talladega, Daytona, you're somewhere in the 50-second range. So, I mean, we've already highlighted how much of a difference the speed is there. But eventually, a lot of these packs, especially the slower packs, get kind of caught up, or to the faster packs get caught up to the slower packs, and eventually you kind of settle into 3, 4, 5 cars maybe, and kind of form that line. But obviously we see, pretty much the story's been 4 or 5 car packs after all the chaos of the first pit cycle.
Yeah, Boomer, I don't know what your thought is, but I really don't see a lot of these packs catching up to each other. If anything, this front pack's got 2 people pushing up front that know what they're doing and do this for almost every league they run, every race they run is nothing but Superspeedway. So these guys up front are really starting to pull away. A 4.6-second gap now to the Groover brothers. I mean, they're pulling just ever so slightly, but that's all it really takes. And if something were to happen to that second pack, it would be a big momentum shift here. So a lot of changes going on, and keeping up with iRacing timing and scoring on my end. And Boomer, you're going to have to verify, just because these bigger races we have here now with more drivers, it's like my live timing just can't keep up correct. But I'm showing the first car 1 lap down as Eric Laurie there in 17th. So is that the case? Is that the right positioning?
Yeah,
so that
correct,
means that we've got 16 cars only now on the lead lap when we had them all earlier. But we're getting ready to approach here in another 5 laps probably. A chance to start seeing pit stops happen. We are on lap 30 of 75. We know the group of Gabe Butler.
We have
a yellow. Trying to see if we can find where that is, but definitely a yellow.
So we've actually got a yellow. So that lucky dog is going to go to that 071 machine, and a lot of guys are going to be very happy as we'll see if we can get that replay pulled up for you here, but it looks like it would have started with the 17 machine getting turned around. Yep, there's the action right there you see on your screens. 17 machine kind of goes for a little bit of a wild ride, and some of the guys behind him went for a wild ride themselves.
Absolutely.
Definitely a little bit of contact. Hopefully those guys weren't ones that took their fast repairs after contact on pit road the first time, but we'll see.
And shocked to really see a big crash like he just keeps it out of that back wall there. But you can see the big back bumper damage where he just got hit, and it just really sent him around. So definitely, because he spun in front of cars, brought that yellow out. But man, this is going to be great for most of the field here as they get to reset everything, Boomer.
Yeah, definitely. And one thing to comment on, that lead that we saw of about 5 seconds for Gabe Butler, Kevin Freese, Matt Wagner, and Ryan Decker in that first pack, we thought that they had a great lead, at least Gabe Butler and some of his other teammates on Sunday night. We thought they had a great lead over about 10 seconds ahead of the second pack and about 15 to 20 seconds ahead of the third pack. And the second pack ended up catching them under green flag conditions. And after a little bit more contact in the front pack, the third pack actually caught all the way back up to the front that were about 15 seconds back. So I would not count anything out here at iRacing Superspeedway just because of the absolute insane craziness. Look at the bump there you see on the screen. You see how much elevation change there is coming out of these corners. This track is absolutely insane, and it is so much fun that we get to be here and get to race here this week.
Absolutely, and you see almost everybody going to come on down pit road. They were getting close to pit stops anyway. Going to probably go ahead and put some sort of tires on it, I would imagine, here, and fuel. May go no tires, but definitely going to come in and get the fuel, get what they need to try to make it to the next stop. And this will give us a chance after these pit stops are complete. We're going to try to see if we can get timing and scoring back updated, because now I don't know. My timing and scoring went nuts when that wreck came out, so I don't really know now who's on the lead lap, who's not. We'll have to try to get all that reset. But the race off pit road here from the static cam from turn 1 shows that Matt Wagner looks like he might have got it. And it looks like Gabe and Kevin might have took tires here to pull out as far back as they did. But definitely all these guys starting to come out of the pits. And here's your winner off pit road, your pole sitter, Matt Wagner, with the lead. So while we're under yellow here, we're going to give a chance for timing and scoring to get back updated. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back on the one to go to bring you action here from the iRacing Superspeedway. You're watching.
Actually, I have a different plan. What if we brought up Matt Wagner? Sorry about that, but
let's
what
go
if
ahead
we
and do
brought
that.
up
Yeah,
Matt
that'll
Wagner
work
for a mid-race interview?
Absolutely, let's do it.
All right, change of plans. So we got Matt Wagner here in the number 11 machine, first off of pit road after that last pit stop. How's it going tonight, Matt?
Doing pretty good there, buddy. It's quite. I was quite shocked when I grabbed the pole position. It's been a weird race so far. I've been staying up front, and all the practice that I put in actually last weekend was actually worth it.
Yeah, we know you're running a bit of a special paint scheme tonight. You don't have to if you don't want to, but if you had a chance, you wanted to talk about the paint scheme, you're welcome to. But definitely a great looking car that you have tonight.
Thank you. It's I will explain. Steve Goshawk, he is used to be a commentator with Gael in the Indy Series. He sadly passed away last Monday, and it was a hard pill to swallow when I heard the news. It's tragic, and
yeah, definitely.
we all feel for him and his family, and prayers out to his family most of all.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we appreciate you sharing that, Matt, and obviously doing him proud so far. You're having a hell of a race, obviously grabbing the pole. Great to see that Nerf paint scheme on the car. Looks amazing, and man, definitely with heavy hearts, we're pulling for you tonight.
All right, buddy. Thank you very much.
Thanks, man.
All right, that was Matt Wagner there, kind of giving some insight here on his race so far and that paint scheme and tribute. Prayers out to that family there for sure. So to reset it all here for you, we've got Kevin Fries, or Matt Wagner is your leader. Kevin Fries is second. Gabe Butler there in third. Ryan Decker fourth. Bud Steele in fifth. Patrick Groover is sixth. Dean Wilkinson going to be in the eighth spot. These guys are kind of pacing a little bit behind. You got Seth Groover in seventh, Dean Wilkinson eighth, and then we've got Timmy Reed in ninth and Carl Henderson rounding out your top 10. But the pace truck is off, and we are ready to try to get this back underway. Timing and scoring updated. Got 20 cars on the lead lap as we get back underway here. Matt Wagner leads, but Kevin is getting a big push on the outside as we come back under the green flag going into turn one. Got Gabe Butler and Kevin Fries separated, but can Fries get clear here to get to the bottom? No, Wagner's going to take it and be side by side through the corner.
Yeah, Matt's going to get a great push from that number 88 machine. Definitely helpful that the 25 and the 88 aren't quite connected right now. Those guys obviously want to try and get together and stay together for the rest of the race. And obviously when those teammates are nose to tail, there you go. You see the 25 actually going to jump down in front. So I think Matt's going to benefit a little bit from being in between the two of them. So Matt's just going to hang out here in this inside lane. And these guys in the outside lane are going to see what they can do to get back around. And the 61 now leading that outside lane with the 01 of Patrick Groover. Behind him with a couple cars back is his brother, the 02, the 55 of Dean Wilkinson in between them on the outside lane. Bud Steele there 10 car fourth in the inside lane. Definitely got a good pack of cars now bunched up back again, 2x2x2 through the rest of the pack.
Absolutely, and some of these drivers are going to take full advantage as they've gotten the fuel and tires they need or whatever service they needed on pit road, and they don't want to go through that again. They've had the one green flag pit stop where things got chaotic. A lot of guys are looking at this as their once-in-a-lifetime reset for this race, and they're going to try to take full-fledged advantage of it. Look at the truck snaking around, and I tell you, I think this is racier than the start of the race was, Boomer. These guys know that they want to be toward the front of this pack in case something else happens again.
Yeah, definitely. I think some people are going to try and back off, maybe be a little bit more conservative, knowing that a lot of these guys probably don't have a second fast repair after they had to burn one from all the contact we saw on the first pit cycle. But definitely thankful here that there is a little bit of help there with that second caution to have a little bit less chaotic pit cycle. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see. The aggression is definitely going to only ramp up from here, I would expect, unless we start getting more groups further apart again.
Absolutely, and kind of coming back here deeper in the field where it's still side by side. The battle looks to be for the 7th spot. Seth gets it, but these drivers still side by side here toward the back, and it's a big gaggle of cars back here. So big boost Carl Henderson trying to move down there to get into line. A lot of people trying to chop some noses off here. Dean Wilkinson, as they say that, makes a big move to the bottom behind Gael Brooks. And this outside lane is dissipating quickly. Boomer, do you think we're looking at getting single file here for a minute?
We'll see. It looks like it's kind of turning that way, though. One thing to mention, though, is we actually kind of glossed over it, but Patrick Groover in the Patrick Groover in the 01, excuse me, Seth's his brother in the 02. Patrick actually was able to get pushed all the way out to the front ahead of Kevin Freese, Matt Wagner, and the 88 of Gabe Butler. So that's definitely a feat. That 61 machine looked like Brian Decker looked like he was pushing really hard on that 01, and fortunately the 01's able to kind of get down in line in that first place, but just about everyone behind them, unfortunately, that outside lane kind of fizzling out, unfortunately.
Absolutely, and I've got to say Team Bootknocker probably liking where they're at right now. I'm sure Matt Wagner is working with that group and amongst that group. He's not in the Discord with them, but Matt Wagner is great friends with both Kevin and Gabe. No shock to see him trying to run with them a little bit, but at any point, I think one of those guys could move out and the other two would go with them. So Patrick is definitely in a difficult spot. He's leading right now, but if it were coming down to the end of the race, he would have no friends out there, I don't think, unless Matt was maybe the wild card in it all. But these guys starting to get single file a little bit. Got some side by side back here in the back, but I believe that's Charles Johnson one lap down, trying to see if he can be the first car one lap down. There's a race within the race here, Boomer. We ain't talked about that much, but these lapped cars, they have a second chance to try to get some yellows and get back on the lead lap, or better yet, see if they can race to be the tail end of the lead lap. So Charles Johnson definitely not going to ride in that bottom lane anytime soon. He's going to try to see if he can stay up front of all his competitors there.
Yeah, and he's actually racing that black and pink truck on the inside there of the 09. That 09 machine, just about a car length ahead of him, is actually the first car one lap down. As I say that, the 9's actually going to pass the 09 there into the corner, into 3 and 4. So the 09, the 09 and the 9 there, that's the battle for the first car one lap down in that lucky dog spot. I mean, that could be the difference between... that's a huge difference between getting your lap back and staying one lap down when a caution comes out. With 40 laps to go, if we had another yellow and you can get back on the lead lap, you'd have a chance to maybe go win this thing still. So a lot up for grabs there as that 09 machine's now looking to try and get back to that 9 machine, which is now about 3 car lengths ahead of them.
The 09 may not have to worry about it. The big push coming from Seth Groover there to that 9 truck could easily push him up there to the lead. They are really rocking, but you got Seth Groover and Dean Wilkinson right there. And Charles is really not slow when it comes to these truck races. He's got a little bit of nose damage, though, on that 9 truck that could be hurting him a little bit trying to lead that pack. But, man, these guys know how to make this work. And Charles is really just hoping for a yellow that's not him and for it to come out when he's ahead of that 09. So we're going to keep tabs on that battle, but back up front, we do see that it is Seth Groover leading the field. There they go, lapping the 63 of Brandon Briggs. Not the season he's been hoping for, getting in a lot of incidents kind of early on. this season. But Kevin Freeze here in second place as we're going to kind of go through the field, maybe at least through your top 10. Matt Wagner, talked to him earlier. He's running stout in third, kind of where he's been all night long there, just hanging out in that third spot. And Gabe Butler quietly been up front here and just kind of minding his P's and Q's, seeing what he can accomplish here. Bud Steele, the last car, single wide there in the 5th position, as that group of Charles Johnson continues to rocket up to the front, as now they're beside him and probably getting ready to clear him there, Boomer.
Yeah, we got that 0-2 of Seth Gruber now sitting in 6th place on that outside lane. His brother Patrick still leading this race, but definitely getting quite a bit of headway there on that outside lane as it kind of, draws that 9 truck draws closer to the front. So we got definitely a lot of cars still here in this pack, and it was kind of nice to have that little bit of a reset there.
Oh, big incident there with Charles!
Oh, man. Wow, that looked like netcode to me, but we're going to have to go look at that replay. I think Gabe Butler came up just enough, and the 9 came down just a little bit, and I really don't think they actually made contact. What I mean by netcode is I don't think they actually... So netcode in iRacing would be where you actually make contact without the envelope of the truck actually making contact. So sometimes it's tough to predict when that contact's going to happen, but we're going to have to take a look back and see what actually happened there, if they did actually make contact, or if netcode was potentially at play there, because I don't think they were that close, even with the bobble that we saw off the corner there.
Absolutely, and trying to see if I can dig through live timing here to see what we can find for you. Yellow flag moment right here with Charles Johnson. Going to see if we can get it on TV1 here. Yeah, just Gabe Butler comes up, a little bit of netcode, and
yeah,
we took our eyes off Charles there for a moment, so this may kind of black out and then come back. But, the 052 got a piece of that.
I was going to say the reaction from the 55 to get through there was impressive, and then unfortunately the 9 making contact there with the 052 you said. That is a lot of contact for that truck for Brad Slagle.
But other than that, I think that might have been the majority of the incident there, Boomer, was just those 2 trucks. As we see, we were off Charles for just a moment, and when we came back into earshot, he kind of reappears down here. But sad thing is, he was in the lucky dog spot, but when you are the caution, it doesn't count. So we will have someone else as the lucky dog as we go back live here to see if we can see what's going on pit road, as these guys are coming and they are ready to get tires and fuel here.
Going to see the 01 of Patrick Groover lead them all the way down pit road. Matt Wagner is going to go all the way to that first pit stop from that number 1 qualifying spot. Oh, the 01 looks like he slid through his box just a little bit. He's going to have to back up there before he can receive service to his Toyota Tundra. Unfortunately, a little bit of time. They'll actually take it back. He only took fuel, it looked like. So he may actually be okay there. The 01 machine coming out first. On pit road, the 55 also only taking fuel. Matt Wagner third off, taking looks like right side tires. Timmy Reed taking fuel, and Vicente Guerrero taking fuel, getting way ahead of Kevin Freese and Gabe Butler, who lost a bunch of spots on that pit stop. But yeah, interesting to see. We saw Gabe Butler and Gabe Butler and his teammates from Sunday night. I can't remember exactly who was with him, but it was not Kevin Freese on Sunday. They elected to take 4 tires on the last pit cycle under green, and it actually ended up hurting them quite a bit, where other drivers were able to catch up to them that had only taken fuel or tires. So this is an interesting pit call by Patrick Groover to regain the lead.
Absolutely shows just how important track position is. So with us a little bit past the halfway point, gonna give myself and Boomer Logan here just a little break to regroup here, to get everything restacked up, let all these wave rounds go through and kind of get you reset here. So we're gonna go under a quick break, but you're watching Green White Checker TV, and we'll be right back at the One to Go. All right, as they head off into turn 3, coming back to reset it for you here. Got 22 drivers on the lead lap now. A couple of them getting that elusive wave around. Todd Siebels, Ron Decker going to be back in action here. But resetting your top 10, it is Patrick Groover, Dean Wilkinson, Matt Wagner, Timmy Reed, Guile Brooks, Joshua Hanner, Carl Henderson, Chris Pacini, Adam Kilday, and Bud Steele in the top 10. And guess what drivers you don't hear? Kevin Freese, Vicente Guerrero, and Gabe Butler. None of them are up there, but the pace truck is in, and we're getting ready to go back under action. Third time's the charm, and the green is out, and Patrick getting a great jump, and he's going to move up top. He's going to see if he can get that big run with Dean Wilkinson and see if he can play the line protection game as they head into turn 1.
Yeah, as we see the 11 machine now pushed by Gael Brooks. Definitely a great push from Gael there. They got going really well on that inside lane, and Carl Henderson now jumps to 4th on that inside lane with them. They got a great start on the bottom there to push ahead. And as you mentioned, we didn't see the 88 or the 25 there. They're going to try and make this 3rd lane work. It looks like they were the guys who actually came back down pit road for another splash of fuel to top off. So they're going to be aggressive, I guarantee, to see this 25, the 9, and the 88 trying to make their way all the way around the field on the 3rd lane.
Absolutely. I guess nothing to lose at this point. Top off of fuel, get a little extra than the rest, and see if you can use that fuel to get up there. And you know these guys are going to be able to push, and Charles Johnson not going to give up in this 9, is he? He's only got to pass that 411 to be back in the lucky dog position. And there it is. Charles Johnson back in position to get that lucky dog. He just doesn't need to be the caution this time. So, definitely a lot of racing going on out here, Boomer.
Yeah, and at the front, we see a little bit of a shuffle there. The 01 now jumping up in front of the 55 machine. Now the 55 and the 01 jumping back down in front of the 11 of Matt Wagner, in front of the 71 machine of Gael Brooks. So that's how they lead in the bottom lane, those top 4. Timmy Reed, now being pushed by Joshua Hanner in that what is now the middle lane, with Kevin Freese now just about to the door of the 256 machine, making that outside lane work really well, and trying to get back up to the front are those little bit of a mix of Team Bootnaka and TW Motorsports guys.
Oh, big push. Charles Johnson went way up the hill. That happens sometimes, though, in turns 1 and 3. If you have a big head of steam up top, it really likes to take off on you there. Underestimating how it looks here on TV, folks, but these guys are really wheeling these cars around here. Yeah, they get to floor it, but it's like hanging on to a big roller coaster, man. It's going crazy, and you're just along for the ride sometimes. But I want to talk about this 01 here and kind of some of the moves he's making. He might have worked with Dean earlier, but watching him play the line game on that restart, that's going to work for maybe so long, but eventually you would think that that's going to cause some issues. I know I've been in plenty of iRacing races where some of the biggest wrecks I've been a part of were caused by that front driver cutting off some momentum of some guys and really causing major checkups. Do you think we're going to see that tonight?
We'll see. It worked out for the 01, the last stop here, as we're going to have a head of steam coming from the 25 and the 88 machine. I don't think the 01's going to try and jump up there. He's not going to try and jump up to stop him this time, but I definitely applaud the moves he made. A little bit of some aggression you saw out of the 01, but he's up at the front of the pack, and a lot of guys that could have made those moves are not. So he's definitely there and trying to stay up front, and he's doing everything that he needs to do to stay up front for now, and he's doing a good job at it in his return to Area 51 and Greenwood Checkered.
Absolutely. Do you think if he gets clear, he might try to work his way up there? It seemed like he wanted to make the move earlier when he was just barely clear, but it just wasn't enough room with the momentum shift. Let's see what he does here off of turn 2. Will he get clear? I don't think it's quite enough. Dean maybe getting a little bit hot back there behind that 01, or it could be just the banking difference there in the outside lane, giving big momentum, and the 25 is actually going to clear the bottom and get big move by Kevin Freese, your defending series champion, back to the point. But Gabe Butler wanted to have something to say about that. Didn't get the win last week he wanted, so he's after it tonight. A new streak maybe going to begin here.
We'll see. Definitely a big aggressive move. I thought that the 25 was going to stay with the 88, but who knows? Maybe the 25 knew that the 9 was pushing the 88, and they had a lot of momentum, so maybe they're trying to work together to get back to the front a little bit there. definitely an interesting play. I definitely would not have expected the 88 or the 25 to abandon the 88 there, but who knows? Maybe they're just trying to lead both lines at the front of the pack and try to control the race even further than if they were just lined up nose to tail in one lane together. But obviously some sort of strategy working out there so far, and they're at the front of the pack once again.
Absolutely at the front of the pack and dominating this race now. Kevin Freeze to the point, but that 0-1 is clear. Does he want to move up in front of Gabe Butler, or is he fine and content riding on the bottom? We're going to see here. You see the wiggle. He's debating, but it looks like for now the momentum is with the bottom lane. Matter of fact, Dean Wilkinson maybe going to clear. Oh, Kevin going to move way up. Was that a bad push, you think? What do you think happened there? It kind of looked really suspicious there.
Could have been a bad push, or just, Kevin not expecting to get a shove at a certain time, but definitely no ill intent, I guarantee. But definitely something off of the nose of that 0-1 machine. The 25 didn't really like, and got him a little bit sideways, and makes the smart move to just kind of get out of line and saved it, and is now dropping to the back. And the 88's going to go pick him up, and they're going to try this thing all over again and try to run back to the front. So another opportunity for them, but we'll still keep here green flag with 24 laps to go. The 0-1 machine being pushed by the 55 of Dean Wilkinson, and Matt Wagner, the 11. He's had a quiet night all night long, just kind of sitting right there in that top 5, and we'll see. He's got him and Gael Brooks behind him are in pretty good position to make something happen here for this race with just under one. We'll have one more pit cycle to go before the end of this race.
Absolutely, and just watching these guys, I don't know if the 25 and the 88 maybe didn't just say, hey, we both got our lap sled, got our bonus points, we're going to come back here and just ride for a little bit, because you see they're continually dropping to the back. I don't know that they trust this big pack just yet, or maybe they got up there and they're going to try to recoup some of that fuel they used. But either way, got a big race on our hands here, and, I didn't quite pay attention like I probably should have, Boomer, hoping you can cover broadcaster's flaw here, but didn't pay attention to the exact lap we restarted on. But with 22 to go, that fuel window is going to open a little bit, and the 79 up into the wall there. Definitely, I don't know if he's just trying to get out of the way or what, but not having the night he wants and just trying to get out of the way, and got himself smashed up there into that wall. Oh, almost thought he was going to do it right there on the straightaway.
Yeah, he's just trying to get out of the way. It looks like for everyone else behind him. But yeah, definitely not the night that Mike Rimkus wanted to have, unfortunately. But yeah, they're it looks like we pit last at lap number 43. The guys that came down pit road to top off on fuel came down on lap 44, so about lap 40-ish for the caution, or 41. So it looks like we're going to have one more caution, or sorry, excuse me. That's a broadcaster's curse. If I meant to say one more pit cycle before we get to the end of this one here. Is just in about 3 laps we should be able to go to the distance for the rest of the way, which I think just about everyone should be able to make it here. So one more pit stop coming here in just a few laps, I guarantee, and we'll be ready to go for the rest of the race.
And just want to give a huge shout out. The 9 battling for the lucky dog last stint. Ends up being the caution, doesn't get it, but saying screw it, gonna get it back the hard way. The 9, Charles Johnson, tail end of the lead lap now, up here leading this pack, and hoping now he's saying yellow, 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 yellow. He really wants a caution right now, Boomer, but I don't know if he's gonna get one just yet. But speaking of cautions and pitting and everything else, looking at the laps to go and when these guys pitted, do you think the strategy for maybe some of those guys that pitted with the 1 to go is they wanted as much fuel as possible, so maybe they could short pit as soon as possible and take the least amount of fuel? I mean, do you think the short pit game is going to be what gets it, or do you have to stay out as long as you can hoping for another yellow?
If nothing else, I think that extra lap of fuel obviously gives them a little bit of wiggle room to kind of play with strategy, whereas these other guys, it doesn't seem like much, but this is almost a 3-mile racetrack. It's bigger than Talladega. 1 lap of fuel is a huge difference here. I definitely think that's going to be, if they don't try and short pit and they do end up going longer, that could be the strategy they play. But if nothing else, it gives them that opportunity to have those options, which I think is so much more critical right now than having track position, because we've seen how well some people have been able to get on pit road here tonight, and also how terribly it has gone for some people trying to get on pit road as well. So it'll be interesting to see. At least they have that in their back pocket of, hey, you know what? If they bunch up and they, if they start wrecking, or if we look like we see a bunch of guys coming down with us, we can abort. We can go one more lap than everyone else can, and we can make that strategy call and try to come down when pit road's a little bit more cleaner and calmer, and not have as much of a traffic jam and maybe avoid some issues. But we'll have to wait and see. It'll be interesting after that first green flag pit cycle how this next one is going to go.
Absolutely. I would think these guys might go another lap or two myself just to see if they can get some insurance for some green, white checkers. But definitely going to be interesting. We've only had one green flag stop here tonight, and both groups that came had their problems. Charles Johnson in the first one wrecking, but then in the other group, just the blockade of cars just going everywhere. And I'm talking big name guys getting in some trouble. So definitely going to have to see what happens here. But we're at the 18 to go mark, coming to 17 to go. Some might dive off here this time, but looks like they're all going to stay out at least another lap. They're trying to get a little insurance.
Yeah, we'll see here. It's definitely interesting that there are so many still lined up in that outside lane. They must be able to go a little bit longer than we're expecting. But something interesting to note here, that fourth truck in line on that outside lane, that's the 51 machine of Jim Brooks. He's also one lap down. Charles Johnson is currently not one lap down, but the tail end of the lead lap being in front of the leader there, this could actually bode really well for Jim Brooks, as he may be able to get up to the front of this pack, maybe even try to grab his lap back. And if not, he will definitely be the first car one lap down as of right now. But if the 9 machine does go a lap down, then the 51 is going to be trying to battle that 9 machine for that spot. So definitely an interesting race to see within the races. We do see
There
now
comes some pitters.
there's pit coming down to pit road.
And it looks like a lot of boot knocker guys, and someone back there into the wall. They did give it a tag there, but all in all, a clean entry this time. One guy tagging the inside wall, but we'll see how that bears for him. But Wagner leading them down on pit road, and he's got that all elusive front pit stall. I guarantee this is a fuel-only stop, Boomer.
Yeah, definitely. So we saw Team Bootnock give it up on Sunday night, where they took 4 tires in this stop at the end of the race last time, and they definitely lost a lot of positions because of it. So I don't think we're going to see that again. I think a lot of these guys are just going to be taking fuel only, or maybe right side tires. It looks like just about everyone in that pack is taking right side tires, somewhere around 7 to 9 seconds
Here
there
comes
on their
another
pit
group.
stops. We got more coming this time. See if we can get organized.
Oh,
And
there's
for the most
another
part, we
one
do.
getting loose.
Oh, the 41. Oh, the 41 into
There's
the
the big crash right there with that whole
man.
second group. Oh, and some of the guys driving through pit stalls. Smart to do it, but both Groover brothers
What a
pretty
shame.
well going to
Those
be
guys
out
are
of this
having
one.
Such a great run tonight. What a shame for those guys. You absolutely hate to see that. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, but it's not over till it's over. But we have a group of a lonely few guys here, and you can't imagine they're making too much speed right now.
Yeah, take a look who's in the lead. It's Boss Man, Gael Brooks, our boss here at Green White Checker TV. He's gonna get a lap lead here, it looks like.
The guy that makes us look good up here, Gael Brooks, probably getting ready to come down this time, I would imagine, and like clockwork with a beautiful entry. But oh, the 041, I don't think he got to make it.
Gael gets a little locked up there.
Wow, what a
Gael needs to-
move.
Yeah, I don't know what the 411 was doing, but Gael needs to get in his box, and make sure he gets a good pit stop so he can finish this race strong and bring home some money to pay our paychecks for tonight. But definitely a good pit stop for this group right here, and definitely saw some disaster on that second group. So the first group and the third group making it down on pit road okay, and the middle group kind of getting jumped up again as we jump back to our leaders, and now we see the 88 machine leading the outside lane with his teammate Kevin Freese behind him, and we have Chris Piscini and Matt Wagner on that inside lane. So they're actually, not the leaders right now. Gael Brooks still has the lead, but he's going to be coming off of pit road. So we're going to have to see where they cycle out to our leaders and see if Gael is going to be able to maintain that lead once he gets back on track.
Absolutely. And, this is that group that came down very first, got their stops done, and were definitely in the hunt for it here. Gael looks like, yeah, he's definitely going to end up getting past with this group, but he should still have good track position here.
Yeah.
He's going to have the best fuel out of all of them. So as long as he can pick that draft up, he's really got a shot to be super aggressive here.
So in this pack, now we've got Gabe Butler, Kevin Freese, Matt Wagner, Chris Passini, Joshua Hanner. That's your top 5. Richard Sanchez, Eric Laurie, Carl Henderson, Josh Laston, and I would expect Gael Brooks to be able to pick up that pack there, as well as potentially, actually, no, Ryan Decker's followed back. So your top 10 are going to be right there in that first pack, and these are your guys that are going to be able to compete for this win with 13 laps to go if everything stays clean and green.
Now, 13 to go as we're watching these truckers. We're getting here to the final little bout. Matt Wagner's going to ride here for so long, but we've seen it before, Boomer. Wagner will run with you until the end, and then we talked about it pre-race. He has not won a restrictor plate race. Wagner has not. I believe I might have been talking to Gael maybe before that, or no, Gabe Butler. No, we were talking to Gabe and them pre-race. And, yeah, Matt Wagner has not won a super speedway race in any series in Area 51 in any season. He's had a strong night all night long. And there it is. What I thought we'd see is he is going to get aggressive, and he is not going to commit anymore. He wants that lead, and he wants that win for his buddy, but he might get pushed a little wide here. Might have made that move a little too early, and that's what I was getting ready to say, too, is we've seen him in the past make the move too early and take himself out of contention. And definitely kind of one of those eager moves there with still 12 laps to go.
And obviously, Matt's had a lot of opportunities. I mean, he doesn't always run with the same teams or doesn't always run with the same people. It looks like he's in the chat with Closed Circuit Racing tonight. So he kind of has, obviously being an admin of the league, he kind of knows a little bit of everybody. He kind of has that opportunity to kind of bounce around and get some help or give help to kind of who he sees fit. It gives him that opportunity to kind of be like the Dale Jr. where, taking those moves of I'm nobody's friend, but it's also working out for him the best because he can kind of go and pick and choose and take the runs that he wants and not have to worry about team orders and has that opportunity to try and make those moves to do something good. So Matt's definitely, it's crazy to think he's gone this long without a win here in the Super Speedway Series, just from how often he is up at the front of these things. But obviously a good running tonight, and he's tucked behind that number 1 machine on that outside lane, or tucked in front of that 1 machine behind the 25 machine. Hopefully we can see what he can do here with 11 laps to go.
Absolutely going to see what he can do. Coming to 10 laps remaining in this race. Boomer, correct me if I'm wrong, but even with our yellows, this thing is flying by here at this dang near 3-mile oval. These guys running strong, and correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't that 510 of Richard Sanchez one of the guys completely wrecking coming onto pit road that first time? And now here he is leading this pack with 10 to go.
Yeah, definitely fortunate to stay on the lead lap even with that incident first on that first pit cycle. But yeah, he's in the lead. He's got I don't think there's too many other, there's not really any other TW Motorsports guys up here in the front pack, but I know he had been running a little bit. He's actually running with the Team Bootnaka guys in their voice channel, so he's actually got a teammate behind him, so that helps him quite a bit, and he's back up front with the rest of these guys. Definitely a beautiful looking Jasper machine there in that yellow and blue and gray. He's going to try and see what he can do to capitalize on what looked like at one point to be a very, very tough night.
And since when did Bootnaka get all their teammates up here? Eric Laurie, unheard of all night long, up here in the 3rd spot. The 510 of Sanchez with the big wreck he had on pit road, leading. Gabe Butler 2nd. Kevin Freese back to 4th. It's a Team Bootnaka top 4. This is crazy right now how they just worked their way up there at the end. But don't forget about that 11 there in the 3rd row on the top. He's not going to be patient super long. He'll try to make another run at him.
We've really got the tale of 2 teams because we've got 2 cars, the first 2 trucks in each lane on the inside and the outside. Those are Team Bootnaka guys. But the next 2 trucks in each lane, actually 3 trucks on the inside lane, 2 trucks on the outside, the 2, the 28, and the 09 on the inside are Closed Circuit Racing, and the 11 and the 1 running together tonight for Closed Circuit Racing. Those guys are all right there with them. So there's really a tale of 2 teams. Then you go back, you've got Gael Brooks running with his dad, Jim Brooks, who's back, not back on the lead pack. Jim, unfortunately, did not get his lap back, but he's up there with the leaders. Maybe he can possibly help his son, Gael, get a race win here tonight. But, I mean, there's really 3 teams and then the 61 of Ryan Decker here that are in this front pack that have a chance. It's going to be interesting to see how these teams can try and get that win and work together to make something happen with now 7 laps to go, I believe, as we're going to cross the stripe.
Absolutely, passing a couple lap trucks there. They're going to try to tuck in and catch that draft. And if they've got any truck in them, they might be some key players to help some of these guys get to the front. But really watching these trucks dart in turn 1 now. Haven't seen that much all race long. And with them not really taking tires much, it makes you wonder if these cars are starting to get a little loose, starting to get a little darty there in 1. And maybe the guys that did take tires are going to be the ones that have the big advantage here because they could be a little more aggressive and have more control going off into these corners.
Yeah, so the 2 guys that took right side, or 11 seconds, yeah, the 2 guys that did take right side tires would be Josh Lassen and Gael Brooks and Ryan Decker, the guys, the 3 at the back of this pack right now. So who knows, they might have a little bit more traction than the guys who only took fuel on that last pit stop. But we'll have to wait and see. Definitely not as much of an issue here as far as tire fall off and tire wear. But you can definitely see that they're getting squirrely, especially as they go in and out of those bumps into the corners and onto the transitions of the straightaways.
Absolutely. Starting to get real darty, real dicey here with 6 to go. Running down the backstretch. You still got Eric Laurie and Richard Sanchez fighting it out. And I'm not going to lie, I don't want a commentator's curse here, but I did reach out to Eric Laurie earlier tonight asking about fuel numbers, and I asked him when was he going to come out here and win this race. How was he going to move Gabe Butler out of his way? And he kind of talked about being content just riding, but maybe thinking back on our conversation we had now, maybe he's thinking, I can do this, I can win, and I got one of the best pushers in the league behind me. Eric Laurie, always one of the supporting drivers, trying to push everybody where they need to go, and now getting his due credit, maybe getting pushed to his first win here tonight, but going to have to battle it out with that bottom lane of Gabe Butler and Richard Sanchez to get it.
It's definitely impressive as far as their team mindset goes. Whenever somebody gets out front, that's the guy that's going to win the race. You know, it doesn't matter that they're not going to try and, you know, obviously, you know, to win the championship or whatever, they're not going to try and get the 25 machine or the 88, you know, out up front. Obviously, Kevin Freese could use the points after missing 1 race, but they're not going to do that. That's not their team motto. They will absolutely stay in line and make sure that whoever's in front is getting pushed to the front. Obviously, they've got 2 opportunities really to win this race. I mean, 4 with all the cars they have up front, but we know that 25 machine is probably not going to leave that 071, and that 88 is not going to leave the back of the 510. That is just how that team operates, and they really are only happy if their team gets the win. Doesn't matter who it is on that team, and it is an incredible mindset. A lot of other teams honestly have a similar mindset where they're just trying to get their guys to the win, and obviously we're going to try and see what closed circuit racing can do here, sitting the third trucks on back in each line. They're still trying to vie for contention. They're going to try and push their teammates to the front, so we're going to have to see how they can make a move and if it's going to happen here with less than 3 laps to go at the stripe.
Do you think we see the third lane form here, Boomer, or do you think these guys just run 2x2 all the way to the finish? I mean, they're staying pretty content now with just 3 to go, but I would expect with 2 to go, you would have to start formulating that move, if not already here on the backstretch.
I think someone's got to try it. Who knows? You know, maybe the 2 and the 11 try to go to the outside, or the 11 and the 1 try to go somewhere. Or maybe Gael Brooks in the 71 jumps to that outside lane, that third lane. But something's got to happen. I mean, obviously, if you race like this, I think you're just going to see either the 071 or the 510 take the win. If you're closed circuit racing, you got to make something happen. You got to try something, anything at all. And even if it doesn't work out, you know that you finished the race trying everything, absolutely everything you possibly could have.
The pushes are going to get harder. They're going to get bigger. The trucks are moving around as we come to 2 laps to go here at the iRacing Superspeedway. Eric Laurie trying to make it work on the outside, but that inside lane seems to only push when necessary, and it seems to be just enough to get him to the start-finish line each time. It's a team boot knocker top 4, but we still got a lap and a half to go here, Boomer. Let's see what happens here in the action that unfolds on the backstretch.
Yeah, you can see, you watch the 25 and the 88 every once in a while. They'll kind of slip out from behind the driver in front of them just to get some clean air on that nose. Obviously, they can't just, they can't just seal it off and push just yet. The 88 ducking down there just a little bit, getting off, just trying to get some cool air into the intake of the motor just to try and cool his engines off so they can try and push here like crazy on this last lap. But I guarantee once they pass this start-finish line, they are going to be locked and sealed and pushing as hard as they possibly can. As we see the third lane trying to make something happen, the 71 machine and the 61 of Gael Brooks, and that's the 61, is Ryan Decker as well. So Gael Brooks and Ryan Decker now picking up the 2 machine in that third lane. They're going to try and make something happen way on the outside.
And that killed their momentum when the 2 moved up. And that's really going to hurt that outside lane with Kevin Freeze, Eric Laurie on the white flag lap. The next time they cross the line, it will be the finish. But the outside lane got a lot of trucks in it now. Can they build the momentum? Can Eric Laurie get it? Or is it going to be the 510 of Sanchez as they're kind of going everywhere in the back? Maybe a spin there with the 2. No, they're still in line. Coming out of the last corner, who's going to have the momentum? Who's going to get it at the line? It's going to be close. It's Eric Laurie with the win. Richard Sanchez second and Kevin Freeze third. Team Bootknocker top 3. Josh Lashton fourth. Gabe Butler fifth. Wagner going to settle for sixth. Carl Henderson 7th, Gael Brooks 8th, Joshua Hanner 9th, and Ryan Decker rounding out that top 10. Wow, wow, wow. What an incredible race here tonight.
Pretty wide at the finish. You love to see it.
Absolutely, and victory for Eric Laurie. Joked with him earlier tonight, talking about him being the pusher, and looky here, he's going to get it, and Kevin Freeze going to come up here and celebrate with him because he couldn't have had that win without him. Eric Laurie, your winner here tonight.
Yeah, I see some of those teammates there celebrate together. Definitely a hard-earned effort for all of those guys there at Team Bootknocker. I mean, that was, they were able to control just about all of that race, and it's I know they view these as a team win, especially to get a podium for the whole team. That's a big deal for them, and that's really important to get those guys in victory lane and in on the podium all together. And with the 071 finally at the front of that pack and winning one here tonight at iRacing Superspeedway.
Absolutely, and now it's time to see if we can kick off some interviews, Boomer. Let's see if we can get the 25 of Kevin Freeze in the booth here to see if we can talk to our third place finisher here tonight.
Pull him up here in just a second.
All right, we've got Kevin Freeze here in the booth tonight. And Kevin, talk us through those last 3 laps there. Pushing as hard as you could. You and Gabe kind of in a pushing contest, but your buddy Eric Laurie, the supporting driver on Team Bootknocker, always the pusher, getting pushed to victory here tonight. But you're getting a solid 3rd place out of this. Tell us about your night.
Yeah, it's nice to actually finish one of these where I ran, because, I mean, the first, 2 or 3 races of the season has not exactly been pretty. And it was great to get Eric the win there. It was just watching the movement in the lanes behind us. I knew on that last lap, once I got connected to Eric's bumper, I just couldn't back off of him because I didn't have any real support directly behind me, and so it was awesome to be able to get him that win, stay connected through the corner, and the engine not blow up because it was running a little steamy.
Definitely. We saw you kind of jumping on the line every once in a while there just to get some clean air into the intake of that truck. Definitely a great team effort as per usual. We saw you guys, you and especially Matt, were up at the front of the pack and at one point kind of ducked out just before that final pit stop. To maybe grab a couple laps led. Looks like, I don't know if you got a push that was kind of a little weird from the 01 and that kind of shot you up the track, but you guys kind of bailed out of that. Was it just a strategy to try and conserve the trucks as much as you could and try to make it to the finish, or was that kind of a plan to just get your laps led, your bonus points, and get out?
I wanted to get back with the teammates so that we were able to pit together, and I mean, it's always safer to pit here from the back of the pack where you're now watching your mirror and becoming a potential bowling pin. So that was what the thinking was there, because Patrick was doing a great job. And then we were able to get in and out relatively without incident, and then get lined up pretty quickly. And I mean, that's how you make your time here, is getting organized as fast as you can off of pit road, because it's such a tricky exit. There's a lot of different ways to do it. Like Gabe likes to use trail braking to get out. I play with the throttle a bit to try to kick the rear end of the truck out to keep it in a slide through the whole corner. But it worked out great, and our strategy was pretty strong. We were able to maintain track position when we wanted to. And we were also able to get tires close to the end there, and it put us towards the back, but we made a pretty hard charge to the front and were able to maintain it.
Absolutely. Did a great job with that. And Kevin, as a veteran of the sport, our defending champion, I got to ask your opinion on this. What'd you think of the pit road issues we kind of had here tonight? Really, there wasn't a group that came on pit road that didn't have at least one car bouncing off that inside wall or wrecking coming onto pit road. We had some big crashes there a couple of times. What's your opinion on that? And maybe surprised that the admins might not have thrown an admin yellow for some of those? Kind of talk us through that there, champ.
I know throwing admin cautions is it just leads you down a bad hole, because what one admin interprets as needing an admin caution, another might not. And it just leads to a lot of inconsistency with admin caution. So I like to have iRacing control it. But I know I almost I have to go back and actually find it, the pit road entry here. And I was telling the guys, one of the reasons why this is probably my favorite super speedway is because of the pit road entry, because it's really difficult. I almost slammed into the inside wall because I made the mistake of carrying the brake pedal off that transition from the banking. You can't be on it. It just immediately kicks out the back end, and you're going towards that inside wall. And if you're not really quick with catching it, it's over. But I know it's tricky, but you got to practice it. It's hard, but it's what makes such a big difference here, is the people who can get in and out of pit road without any real incident. Like, the truck going squirrely on you once isn't going to kill you, but when you have to use a quick repair, that's going to be a problem.
Absolutely. Well, man, you did great tonight. Great 1-2-3 finish for the team. So, going to give you a chance for any thanks and shout outs you have for this third place finish here tonight.
Yeah, huge thank you to you guys for putting on the broadcast, all the hard work you guys do for that. Thanks to the admins. It was nice to see Charles back out on track after the emergency and scare he had with his brother-in-law a couple days ago. So that was good to see. Thanks to the teammates, Eric, Gabe, Jimmy, and Rick, who were out there with us, and we had Everett watching. Probably a little jealous that he wasn't out there with us having some fun in this car and track combination. But yeah, just thanks to the drivers tonight. I mean, that was a great race. They kept it clean for the most part. 2 cautions in 75 laps is pretty good. I think any of us will take that when we can.
Absolutely. Well, man, great job on the third place finish. Moving your way back up through the points. Not the start of the season you wanted, but slowly crawling your way back up there. We'll see you next week at Daytona. Go celebrate with the team.
All right. Thank you, guys. Enjoy your night.
All right. That was Kevin Freeze there in a third place. Now it's time to talk to our second place driver, Richard Sanchez there in the 510. And Richard, man, you did not have the first pit stop you wanted here tonight.
No, I did not.
Getting a blunt end of that one. But coming back, I called it in the broadcast. I said, wasn't this the guy that was sitting here wrecking our first pit stop and getting way off pace in the back there? Coming now to be leading this race with 10 to go. Talk us through your race, man. What kind of roller coaster ride did you have here tonight?
It was kind of a weird one. Yeah, that line bit me coming in the pits, and that's the first time that's actually happened. But luckily, I was able to overcome it and get back with the pack, and then I was just hanging on and kind of went my way there. So Had some
Definitely,
help getting pushed.
Yeah, definitely a great recovery for you there, Rick, and it was exciting to see you kind of go from an incident at the beginning to to up at the front and contending for the win at the end. Obviously, pretty much you guys really just kind of controlled the end of the race. I saw we heard from the 25 machine of Kevin Freese said he wanted to get back. Him and Gabe wanted to get back with you guys to pit. And do you guys think, pitting from the back there by yourselves in that group, do you think that's what really set up you guys apart as far as being able to get this team podium tonight?
Oh yeah, anytime you can come out of the pits with a 4 or 5 car pack that all working together, you're gonna motor. So better than being strung out like most guys get.
Absolutely. And coming home here with this second place, had the lead there for the most of that majority of the last 10 laps, you and Eric going back and forth, but seemed like you always had the drag race won at the line until about 2 to go there. Seemed like something might have changed where momentum shifted to that outside lane. Is there anything you and Gabe maybe could have done different to get your nose ahead there at the end? Or maybe they just found something you guys didn't, or was Gabe getting a little hot there behind you?
No, we really needed a third car back there to help keep us up in a tight pack. And I think the last couple of laps, that guy behind Gabe kind of fell off a little bit. So I don't know.
Well, 10-4, man. You had a great race here tonight. Didn't start the way you wanted, but hey, it finished right where you needed it to. Up here in the top 3, just shy of the win here tonight. So want to give you the floor now for any thanks and shout-outs you might have for this second place finish here tonight, Richard.
All my good running from the Boot Naka guys. They're all great group of guys to run with. Appreciate Air 51 for putting on a good league. And always appreciate you guys in the booth putting on a good show. Thank you.
All right, man. We appreciate it. But hey, heck of a show here tonight. Make it +1 next week at Daytona and see if you can't pull off the victory there and get yourself catapulted in the points here a little bit. So great run here tonight. Go celebrate with your team, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
All right, that's your second place finisher, Richard Sanchez. But now it's time to talk to the man of the hour, the man that has won it all here tonight. Eric, I was joking with you before the race, asking you what you had to do to come win one of these. Thought you was going to have to move Gabe Butler out of the way, but hey, you just got one of the best pushers in the league to give you a push for once. You're normally that supporting driver that always gives the push, and tonight, you got the favor paid back, and man, did it pay back big. You are a winner in the 2023 Season 1 of the Superspeedway Truck Series. Tell us about your night here tonight, Eric, because you were kind of off the radar until the end. So how was your night?
The night was starting good. Did pretty good until our first pit stop. Somebody got in the back of me, and it got me upset, and then I got into Richard going into the pits, and it was a melee from there. But after that, just rode, and I was able to actually get my lap back.
Absolutely, yeah. Go ahead, Boomer. See what you got for him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously we've talked to the 25 machine and the 510 already, and I mean, it seems like the name of the game was teamwork, and you guys are really great at doing that. Obviously, we've seen you kind of in a position where you've been the one kind of pushing some of your teammates before to these wins. Obviously, it's got to feel good to finally break through and be the one who gets up front, to be the one that gets pushed. Typically whoever is in the front for your team, you guys going to push that guy and commit to him. So it was kind of cool to see that the 25 machine was committed to you, and you're able to get that win tonight.
Oh yeah, it's good to get a win, but I really appreciate Kevin, Gabe, and all them for all the help they do. Yeah, like you said, I'm usually the one helping out, but maybe once in a while it's good to get a help.
Absolutely. And, got that win here tonight, feeling good. But, Eric, I do have to ask a question that might be a little bit different than most. Those last 10 laps, how tensed up were you, man? You had Kevin Freese laying into that back bumper, and I watched it a couple times, really kick the back bumper around a little bit for you and thought y'all were going to have some issues. So was it a wild ride those last 10 laps, and how hard you have to fight to get him right there at the line?
It wasn't that hard to hold it. It wiggled here and there a little bit, and I probably went up in the corners a little bit higher. And he told me to drop it down a little bit more, so that's what I did. And other than that, it was actually basically easy to hold.
Spoken from a true veteran. Well, man, you've done it here tonight. You've kept Gabe Butler out of victory lane for the second week in a row. I would say that's a pretty big accomplishment on Thursday night. So great, great job. Congrats on the victory. And Eric, I want to give you the floor for any thanks and shout outs you got for an awesome win here at the iRacing Superspeedway.
Well, first of all, I got to thank Kevin and then the rest of the crew, Gabe, Rick, and we had Jimmy Reynolds in with us tonight, which was a pleasure. And really thanking you guys out for what you guys do, putting up with us every week. And Area 51, I'm glad to see Jim Brooks back racing with us.
Absolutely. Well, let me tell you, you guys are a handful to deal with, but me and Boomer wouldn't have it any other way on Thursday nights. Love covering this series. Love watching you guys race your guts out to try to go for victory, and man, that's what you've got here tonight. So go ahead, go back with the team, celebrate this victory, and let's see if you can make it 2 in a row over there at Daytona International Speedway next week.
Yeah, we'll give it a shot. I told you that earlier tonight, and I guess it turned out, so can't complain.
Hey, maybe I was your lucky charm there, Eric. No, I'm just kidding. But hey, great, great, great job, man. Go celebrate with that team. We'll see you next time.
All right, thank you, guys.
All right, and that was your race winner, Eric Laurie, there in the 071, getting the W here tonight. And Boomer, as we start to wrap things up, want to get your final thoughts on how this race was tonight and how action-packed you thought it was.
Oh man, this track does not disappoint. It has not disappointed yet, and I can't wait to come back here 2 more times in each series. A heck of a race win from the 071. We've seen a couple of race winners this week in Bud Steele and the 071 of Eric Laurie. Guys that aren't always in that winner's circle, aren't always up front. They are always up front, but don't always, seem to be able to get it across the line first. And it's good to see some guys getting some wins that may not always be there. And we saw a few yellows. We saw some chaos on pit road. Stuff that you don't always see every single week. And for the most part, I would say we ran pretty clean as far as a track that's this size and is so crazy in the virtual world. But I think we had a blast, and I hope you guys watching did too.
Absolutely. It was an intense night tonight. And before we go, one more thing to mention. You say we get to go here 2 more times. Boomer, if I'm not mistaken, both the Sunday Next Gen Series and this Thursday Super Speedway Truck Series, their season finales are going to be here at the iRacing Super Speedway. And we saw the chaos all on pit road here tonight. You think that's going to have a big play in the championships going down the line? I love to think futuristic, and I know we're just a third of the way here in this season, but you have to have that in the back of your mind as a racer here when you go for championship weekend, right? Thinking pit road's going to be a big key to the success.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you're going to have to figure out how to do well here if you are in that chase for that championship. You're going to, if you're in the hunt, you really need to know, you need to set, excuse me, words are hard sometimes, but you need to take that setup book and those notes from tonight, record everything, go back through, watch how this race played out, see, what moves made, were good, that were made were good moves, or, what moves didn't work, or what pit strategies did and didn't work. You got to kind of take that notebook and really strengthen it and write that down. Keep that in mind. Obviously, we go back here twice, like we mentioned, but that last race is going to be where the championship is decided here. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see, and you're really going to have to keep in mind what happens at this track more so than the other tracks in the schedule.
Absolutely. It's going to be an interesting one for sure. But next week, make sure you tune in, folks, as we go back to the Daytona International Speedway. The round of 4 tracks is over. It's time to begin round 2 of 3 of our 4 race cycles here. So going back to Daytona, then Atlanta, Talladega, and then right back here at the iRacing Superspeedway over the next 4 weeks. And the Sunday Next Gen Series following the same schedule. Catch that on Sundays with Mr. Boomer Logan here as he brings the call for that action. Gotta think that's going to be an interesting one over there at Daytona. Those cars really like to get light and loose at that speedway, so it's going to be awesome to see. But plenty of action here tonight. Plenty of championship drama starting to take shape. We'll have your points reset when we come back to you next week on Thursday. But for myself and Boomer Logan, we are signing off for the evening. Thank you for joining us, and we hope to see you next week back here on Green, White, Checkered TV. Thank you, and good night.